You know the feeling. You're in a dead silent room, maybe a big meeting, and suddenly, your stomach decides it has something to say, loudly. It's kind of embarrassing, right? And we all just assume it means, I'm hungry. But what if that's not the whole story? What if it's saying something way more interesting? Well, today, we're going to decode the surprising science behind those stomach sounds.
So let's get right to it. What is your stomach really trying to tell you with all that growling and rumbling? Is it just a simple request for food? Or is there a much deeper conversation going on in there that we're all just, completely missing?
All right, first things first, let's get properly introduced to our speaking stomach. We're going to learn the real name for that gurgle, and right off the bat, we're going to bust the biggest myth about what it actually means. Okay, get ready for your new favorite word, borborygmi. That's the actual scientific term for those stomach growls. And notice the definition. It's the movement of fluid and gas in the intestines. So yeah, it's not just your stomach, it's your whole digestive system having a chat down there. And here it is, the big reveal. That sound? Most of the time, it has nothing to do with being hungry. It's actually the sound of your gut doing some routine cleaning. So think of it less like an empty fuel tank alarm and more like a very thorough, very dedicated housekeeping crew on the job. So, who is this housekeeping crew? Let's meet them. In this next part, we're going to zoom right in and take a look at the powerful, rhythmic process that's really making all that noise we hear and feel. And the star of the show, the head of the cleaning crew, is the migrating motor complex, or, MMC for short. This is the official name for your gut's built-in cleanup system. And what's wild is that this whole process gets going specifically when you haven't eaten for a while.
So what does the MMC actually do? Well, it's this series of really strong muscle contractions that literally sweeps its way through your stomach and small intestine. Its whole job is housekeeping. It's pushing out leftover bits of food, bacteria, all that stuff. And this is super important because it keeps bad bacteria from setting up shop and gets everything ready for your next meal.
And this cleaning process happens in 3 phases. Phase 1 is just quiet, not much is going on. Then in phase 2, things start to warm up with some small random contractions. But phase 3 is the main event. It's a short, intense burst of powerful waves that just pushes everything through. And that's why it's so loud. Your stomach is mostly empty, so those powerful waves are just sloshing around a little bit of fluid and gas, and the sound just echoes. That's the rumble we think of as a hunger pang.
And this isn't just happening randomly. This whole 3-phase cycle runs like clockwork, repeating about every 80 to 120 minutes whenever you're not eating. It's your body just constantly working to keep that digestive highway clear. Pretty cool, right?
So we know how the housekeeping works, but what's actually telling the muscles to get started? Well, now we have to meet the chemical messengers, the hormones, that are basically the conductors of this entire gut orchestra.
It really comes down to teamwork between 2 key hormones. First, there's motilin. You can think of motilin as the foreman on the job site yelling, "All right, time to get to work." It's the hormone that really kicks phase 3 into high gear. Then you've got ghrelin. People call this the hunger hormone. Its job is to go up to your brain and say, hey, maybe we should think about eating soon. So while motilin is running the cleanup, ghrelin is getting you ready for the next meal.
Now, look, 99% of the time, all these borborygmi are totally normal, healthy sounds. But what about that other 1%? In this section, we're going to talk about when those gurgles might actually be a sign that something's not quite right.
First up, there's this really rare but fascinating condition called speaking stomach syndrome. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It causes gurgling noises that are actually in sync with your breathing. It's all caused by some unusual muscle activity, but it's a very, very specific kind of stomach sound.
Something much more serious, though, is an intestinal obstruction. This is a real medical emergency. It's when something is physically blocking your intestines, so nothing can get through. And the sounds your body makes in this situation are very, very different from those normal housekeeping rumbles.
So how would you even tell the difference? Well, the warning signs for an obstruction are pretty severe. We're talking serious pain, vomiting, a swollen belly, but listen to this, the sounds themselves change. They can become really high-pitched, almost like a whistling sound, or, and this is crucial, they can just stop altogether. A completely silent gut can actually be a very serious sign.
Okay, let's zoom back out and put this all together. We've gone from a simple, everyday stomach growl all the way down to hormones and even medical emergencies. So what's the big takeaway here? What should you remember from all this?
It's this. The next time your stomach starts talking in a quiet room, you don't have to feel embarrassed. You can actually feel kind of proud. That rumbling isn't a sign of an empty tank.
It's the sound of a super sophisticated, healthy, hardworking system doing its job. It's the language of a happy gut.
And it really makes you think, doesn't it? If a simple little growl has this much complex science behind it, what other secrets is your digestive system holding? What else is your gut trying to tell you every single day?